Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Welcome to Honor Flight Long Island's reunion event as we celebrate the Honor Flight Long Island class of October 4th, 2025. Let's hear it for our veterans. Welcome to this gathering of honor and respect, which has become a ritual for Honor Flight Long Island. After our flight, we gather together again to recognize our veterans, to present some photos from our trip, and to wish everyone happy holidays. My name is Jeff Rosenking. I'm one of the proud volunteers with Honor Flight Long Island. I'd like to say now to everyone in this audience, veterans and their family members, we welcome you all now into the Honor Flight Long Island family. Welcome. By this time, if we're not mistaken, you probably heard their stories 3, 4, maybe 5 times, is that right? But it's okay, right? It's great stories and great memories that should last a lifetime, if not more. We often receive feedback from our veterans and families, and they say, how does Honor Flight Long Island do it? How do you get this program to be such a well-oiled machine with all the events that we do throughout the day, events like this put together? Well, the answer is not a simple one. And it goes like this. There are a lot of people that are involved in making this and every Honor Flight Long Island event happen. And let's start with the Guardians. We could not pull off the trip without our Guardians, so we'd like to give a round of applause for all of our Guardians who are with us and make the day possible. And just as a reminder for anyone who doesn't know, Guardians pay their way on the day. What we like to say is they pay for the privilege of escorting a veteran to their memorial. But it starts with the Guardians, and there are, again, many, many more people. When we go down to Washington, one of the first group that we meet, actually we land in Baltimore and then make our way to Washington by bus, we meet the BWI team, the yellow shirts. And again, for the people who don't know this, these are volunteers who their job is to meet and greet every honor flight that lands in Baltimore. And that's what they do for the entire day. And they're there to meet our veterans in the morning, and they're there to greet us when we come back. They make sure we safely get across, into the terminal, out of the terminal. Again, we couldn't do without them either. When we get down to the memorials, we meet the memorial reenactors and the docents. These people volunteer their time to talk with our veterans and portray General Patton and the women from the 40s, right? All dressed up, taking pictures with our veterans, again, there for them. The Honor Flight Network, the national team. Honor Flight Long Island is part of a chapter of over 100 Honor Flight networks, I think it's over 125 across the country. And we work with them to coordinate things like busing and holidays in DC and any special events. So their help is paramount as well. The venue we're meeting in today, right? This is the American Airpower Museum. If you've never been here before, this place is an amazing place. Many things in this place still fly, and they welcome us back every year, so we can have this event twice a year. And we thank them. We're going to hear from them shortly. Can't be a better venue to meet in, right? Because the Coast Guard Auxiliary Band are always here for us. They call us up and say, when's the next event? We love having them here. When you left the airport, you may have noticed this giant flag out there waving, right? Those flags are put up by the Bohemia, Lakeland, and other fire departments. And again, they volunteer their time for our veterans to make it special. We did mail call on the trip, and mail call was great. We get the family members involved. But in addition to what the family does, we have mail call letters that come from throughout the country. And we have a coordinator who pulls that together, Jane Kropsack. I'm not sure if Jane is here. Jane is in the back. And assisted by Nancy Wagner, and they put that mail call together, and it's amazing. And thank you for everyone's participation. The MacArthur Airport staff, they help us before, during, and after the flight day. You notice when we got back to the airport, it was like the Beatles landed, right? It was crazy. And even our president, Bill Jones, sometimes says, where do all these people come from? They come because they're inspired by our veterans and by all of you. And when you get off the plane, you hear some big thumping going on, and the vets go like, what the heck is going on down there? And then when they come down, they see the bagpipe band is there for them and leading the charge, routing everyone up. And again, that's just become an honor flight Long Island tradition. So this is just an example of some of the people and the organizations that make the Honor Flight Long Island experience special. But again, it's all inspired by our veterans. So give them another round of applause, please. Okay, again, just going back to the venue. This beautiful venue is always available to us. We have Larry Starr is going to welcome us today to the museum. So give him a hand, Larry Starr.
Thank you, and on behalf of the volunteer staff, the board of directors, and President and Vice President of the American Airpower Museum, welcome this morning. If you look around, you'll see it's not just living and breathing veterans that you're surrounded by, it's also veteran aircraft. This aircraft sitting over here that you're staring at its tail is the oldest B-25 in the world and still flies. It's got significant history behind it. The C-47 outside on the ramp that you can see through the windows has significant history during World War II, as does many of the other aircraft that we have associated with us. And tomorrow, we commemorate the 84th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor, which was a pivotal date in the history of our country. Up until that quiet morning, Sunday morning, America was determined to sit by the sidelines, let the Europeans fight it out amongst themselves, let the Japanese and the Chinese fight it out amongst themselves. And suddenly, within a matter of hours, we found ourselves embroiled in a world conflict. And it was all of our people, not many of the guys left here today, but it was our greatest generation that rose to the occasion and gave us our freedom that we so desperately need. So today we honor our veterans from Vietnam. We're losing our Korean veterans at an alarming rate, our Iraqi war veterans, our Middle East veterans, and we cannot thank Honor Flight enough for what they do to make sure that they feel welcome, that our veterans get to see what our country is doing to commemorate their deeds and sacrifices that they made to keep this country free. So enjoy the rest of the morning, and thank you all for coming again.
Thank you, Larry. And just by the way, we do have one member of at least in our veteran corps, we can see about the audience, we're going to hear about him later. Mr. John Leone, please raise your hand, World War II veteran. He's here with us today. We're going to hear about him a little bit. now I'd like to introduce the president of Honor Flight Long Island and a West Point graduate, Mr. Bill Jones.
Pleasure to be with all of you today. We have an incredible team with Honor Flight Long Island. We have been doing this now for 19 years. We have flown over 2,000 Long Island veterans down to DC, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. We're proud of that. We're going to continue to do our job as long as there are veterans who sign up. And the good news is that we have a very nice waiting list. So we're going to be at this mission for the next several years. And again, as Jeff mentioned, if anyone has never been a Guardian on one of these flights and would like to participate, please go on our website. And it'll be a day that you won't forget. We try to make it memorable, and oftentimes it is. We visit the World War II, Korea, Vietnam. We often do the changing of the guard at Arlington, the Air Force Memorial, which has a stunning location overlooking the Potomac and all of Washington, D.C. It's a great day. It's a one-day trip, and please consider joining us and spreading the word, because that's the most important thing. We want every veteran who's not aware of what this program is all about to become aware. That's that. The other piece of news that I'd like to present to you is that in the past, we've always had cake here, we've always had coffee or juice or water, but this is the first year that we've actually had sandwiches available for you all, and that's courtesy of the Bristol. So I'd like you to give a round of applause for the Bristol for providing these sandwiches, and representing the Bristol today is Kerry Winans Kaylee. Kerry, we're out there. Kerry's right in the back there. So thank you to the Bristol for this fine job. And if we eat them all, she may well go back and say, you know what, we need to do this again because they really liked it. So, have at it in the back there. Great. So the only thing I really want to say is the following. Two points that I want to make, and then I'll get off. But as we approach January 1st, we enter the 250th anniversary of the founding of our country. A country that has been through a lot over those 250 years, and a lot of wonderful average citizens have made it all possible and brought us and preserved our liberty and brought us to the kind of wealth that we have today here in America, and the wonderful quality of life that we've been able to enjoy. But none so important as those men and women throughout the years who have stepped up and are willing to put the uniform on and serve this great country and preserve our freedom and our democracy. And that's who we are here to honor today. So it's something that I'm certainly going to be thinking a lot about. And I am a bit of a history buff, and it amazes me that we were able to defeat the greatest army and navy in the world back in the Revolutionary War with a bunch of guys that just kind of were running around with muskets. And it just is an incredible story, as is each of the stories that Americans have stood the challenge and answered the call to come and say, no, we love this country and we want it to continue. And these gentlemen today, but ladies as well, signed up, volunteered, and said, hey, we want to do our part. So it's all about these gentlemen that sit before you today as part of the reason that we're here 250 years later. Finally, I simply have 4 words as the West Point graduate. I say these every December. I can't help myself. Please forgive me. Go Army, beat Navy.
Thank you. That's Bill Jones. He's driving a Volkswagen. If you're going to take out that car, all good. A couple of years ago, on a flight, many years ago now, but we had a Guardian accompany his World War II dad. And back then, the flights were primarily World War II. and we would take 40 or 50 at a time. Well, we also we used to go to eat at the Golden Corral. So inside the Golden Corral, we were having dinner, and this guardian stood up with his dad and started singing "God Bless America" in the restaurant as everybody's eating. Well, everyone stopped, stood up, and joined in the chorus, and it was pretty amazing. This gentleman, who was the guardian, is with us today, and Eric Wiebold wound up writing a song, and he wrote a song not for the World War II generation, and not that there's nothing deserving there, as we know Mr. Leone and all the others that were passed, but he wrote a song about the Vietnam veterans. Right now, it's the bulk of our flight, our Vietnam veterans. And these are the veterans, most of which, when they came home, they were not welcomed. They were actually called things like baby killers and spit on and so forth. Well, we can't change that. But we hope things like the Honor Flight experience make things a little bit better. And I know when you hear Eric's song, he's going to share that with us right now, it's also going to be better. So I want to introduce Eric Wiebold with "Welcome Home, My Brother."
I wrote this song inspired by Vietnam veterans, and I know the story which I followed as a youth. And I was 2 years away from thinking about my draft, perhaps. And coming from a military and a patriotic family, this was an inspiration, but this is because of Honor Flight and because of you.
gentlemen. And just so you know, the words for that song are included in your tribute journals. So you have those words. You have not heard the last of that song. Remember that song. I can almost guarantee you're going to hear that again on a national stage. Okay, so two things before we get into the medley. I see that we have Bill Stratemeyer joined us. He's going to come up and say a couple of words. Also see Tom and Kevin in the back, a friend of our veterans. I want to say welcome to Tom. Thank you for being here as well. Bill Stratemeyer.
Thank you, Jeff. You know, under the category, it's not easy being me. I thought I'd get here early enough for the 12 o'clock ceremony. I guess I didn't get that memo. Anyway, I'm retired Colonel Bill Stratemeyer with the Long Island Air Force Association. What day is tomorrow? Pearl Harbor Day. Pearl Harbor Day. 84th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. Right here tomorrow at 10:30, our association will conduct our 28th consecutive Pearl Harbor Dropping of the Roses Memorial Ceremony. An SNJ World War II type aircraft will take off at the appropriate time to drop 84 roses over the Statue of Liberty. I'm going to reserve all these seats for you. Come, I expect to see you all tomorrow. I'm going to put your name on those seats. I expect to see you there. Please come out for the ceremony.